Hello and welcome to Global Eye. I'm Parikshit Luthra. The Trump administration continues to crack down on immigration. US visa applicants are now required to list all social media usernames or handles of every platform they have used from the last 5 years on their form for background checks. The US State Department referred to each visa adjudication as a national security decision. In a post on social media, the US Embassy in India cautioned applicants against omitting social media information, saying that it could lead to visa denial and future eligibility. Earlier, the US Embassy also asked those applying for student visas to switch the privacy settings of their social media accounts to public to facilitate vetting. How is this move expected to impact visa applicants? Joining us now to discuss this is Piyush Kumar, Regional Director, South Asia, Canada and Latin America at IDP Education. Thank you for being with us. Piyush, let me begin by asking you, how has this changed the time taken for processing visa applications for students?
Well, if you talk about India, I would say currently the visa applications are in a pause mode. So what I mean is that the students who had not got the visa interview slots, currently the visa interview slots have not been opened, and hence, obviously, till the time they get opened, the processing will not begin. For students who had already submitted their visa applications and had got the visa interview slots, for them the time taken has not changed. It is just what it always used to be, which is for US, which is pretty good. But if a student has not yet got the visa interview slot, then they are waiting for quite some time. I think it's almost like more than 3 weeks since the pause was done, and we are still waiting for the government to lift it. Although the US government has announced that they are going to lift it, but in India we have still not seen the visa interview slots open up.
Right. Now, when it comes to the social media vetting policy, over the last 2 to 3 weeks, we've seen different updates to that. One which says that switch your privacy setting from private to public, give all the social media information, all your handles from across platforms in the last 5 years to the US government. If there is anything objectionable, your visa application can be rejected. Is there any clarity on the kind of content a prospective applicant should not be putting there on social media?
Absolutely. One interesting thing to note is that this requirement is not new. Actually, if you look at the DS-160 form, which is the visa application form, the requirement to declare your social media handles has been there since 2019. But it is only now that it looks like that the US government is very serious in implementing this policy. And hence, this is the first time they have asked their students to change their profile settings to public, declare all the social media handles which they have been using for last 5 years. And what we understand is that the US consulate is looking for evidence which could be related to any potential fraud, any inconsistency in their profile, and most importantly, any post, comment or like which they would consider potential threat to national security. So students should be very careful about their posts, comments, likes, and even things like their profile names, which are going to be scrutinized for anti-Semitism, anti-US, hateful, politically motivated or threatening material.
Right. I would also like to ask you, when it comes to vetting of social media accounts, like you're saying, it's happening more aggressively right now. And there could be cases where you may be rejected. And it is also saying, the advisory is also saying that even after you get your visa, you will continuously be monitored. So even if you go to the US, you have to be very careful about what you're posting.
Absolutely, that is absolutely correct. So just because a student has got the visa successfully, it doesn't mean that this process has ended. So during their entire course of study, so right from going to the US, when, for example, at the port of entry, the same questions could be asked, right? So they may still want to see your social media profiles. Some questions still could be asked. We know for a fact that some of the questions which are getting asked is, what is the student view about the Israel and Iran war? What is their view about, what do they think about America as a country, right? So these questions are getting asked. So, what is going to happen is, till the time you are in the US, during that entire period, the students need to be very careful about what they are posting or commenting on or liking what kind of posts, etc. The US government is very clear that they would not allow anything which is against their declared national policy.
Right. Does this apply only to J, F, and M visas, which are either exchange programs or student visas, or does it apply to all categories?
It also applies to, I would say, long-term non-immigrant categories. Like, for example, it could apply to H-1B, L-1 kind of visas also. So it's not only limited to student visas.
Right. Does the student have any recourse in case the visa is rejected? Because the advisory from the US government also says that this is a privilege, not a right.
Well, the only thing which the student can do is to reapply, right? I mean, when the US consulate rejects the visa, they would typically give a reason why the visa is rejected. So I think the students need to go and relook at their visa application, check what exactly is the reason being mentioned, and maybe take corrective action and then reapply. That is the only thing which you can do. As you rightly said, the US government is very clear that it's a privilege, not a right. So I would advise the students to be careful, do it right the first time. But in case if you unfortunately get your visa rejected, do have a relook at your profile and look at the reasons what have been mentioned and take corrective action and then reapply.
Right. My final question would be, would you now advise students who are looking to go to US to possibly consider other locations as well, considering there is a pause on fresh interviews, there is so much of social media vetting, and there is uncertainty about the visa process in India?
Well, this is again something which frankly depends on the students. There are many students, see, we actually engage with thousands of students. There are many students who are very, very clear that they want only to go to the US because of the quality of education. We all know that US has really got world-class institutions. So there are students who are very clear that they would want to go to the US only, and they are even willing to defer their intake by 1 year if need be, if they don't get visa on time. But yes, there are a certain category of students who have started thinking about other destinations, like, for example, going to the UK or Australia or Canada. So yes, depends on the students. There are people who are very clear about the US. There are people who are also willing to look at other destinations, considering that these other destinations also have some really world-class institutions. So we see students in both categories. We are not advising anyone not to go to the US because there are still a large number of students going to the US and things are very fine. As you know, a very large number of Indian students are currently studying in the US and things are absolutely fine with them. As long as students are not indulging in any activity which the US government thinks is breaking the rules and regulations of their visa, I think things are fine.
All right. Thank you very much, Piyush, for joining us. That's indeed an important conversation, and students should listen to this, especially if they are looking to go to US for education. Let's move on and focus on India-China relations. And we're going to look at two issues today. China has halted its specialty fertilizer shipments to India in the last 2 months, while continuing its exports to other nations. These fertilizers are crucial for enhancing yields of fruits, vegetables. Chinese officials are reportedly avoiding inspection of India-bound consignments. This has effectively blocked exports through procedures. 80% of India's requirements for these fertilizers come from China. Beijing has also restricted the export of rare earth magnets to other countries, including India. And even though China has started releasing magnets on a case-by-case basis for companies in Europe and US, they've not released any consignment of magnets for India. Now, taking this discussion on fertilizer forward, I'm now joined by Rajiv Chakrabarti, National President, Soluble Fertilizer Industry Association. Thank you so much for joining us, Rajiv Chakrabarti. Let me begin by asking you, China was always blocking the supply of specialty fertilizers, but has this now completely come to a halt? What has changed?
Thank you, Parikshit, for having me in this show. For the general understanding of the audience, I would like to give a brief introduction of specialty fertilizer in India. Specialty fertilizer is different from the subsidized fertilizer. In India, fertilizers are governed by fertilizer control order. There are two categories of fertilizer. One is subsidized fertilizer. In this category, there are products like urea, DAP, SSP, and all. For these products, India is self-sufficient. For the specialty fertilizer, which is non-subsidized, there are four categories of fertilizers. One is soluble fertilizer, which is the primary nutrient supplier, the organic fertilizer, micronutrients, and biostimulants. For these fertilizers, we are dependent on external sources. India started using water-soluble fertilizer in 1993. The major recognition came in 2002 when the government listed water-soluble fertilizer in FCO, and then onwards, this revolutionary fertilizer started showing its results. It can be seen from the growth in grape cultivation and the success in grape cultivation. It's a great story that is to be narrated, and it is to be followed everywhere. Now, the specialty fertilizers are some fertilizers which are actually replacing the subsidized fertilizers. So why it is so important? Because it is very high yielding, low in residue, high in quality. It makes the fruits and vegetables exportable, longer shelf life. It is very nutrient rich, and above all, it is highly profitable for the farmers. Yes, you are correct.
Right.
China has been putting ban on restrictions or delaying consignments for quite some time. We as an association have been negotiating with CCPIT and other organization in China to get the supply sources stable. This time China has restricted it in a different mode, and it is very sudden. So consignments are not coming to Indian ports.
Okay. Have you taken this up with the Indian government so far? Can we also link it to the rare earth magnet issue? China, for the last 3 to 4 months, is not releasing rare earth magnets to India. This is a worldwide policy, but in India's case, they're not giving licenses at all. Have they stopped fertilizer, specialty fertilizer exports to all nations, including India? Or here, there is a specific treatment for India itself?
Earlier, there was delay for all nations, but this time, some consignments are going to other nations, but not to India. They have not issued any written explanation for this, but we have understanding that this CIQ arrangement, which is inspection arrangement in China, which is not getting approval from the Chinese authorities. So we are preparing a couple of things, because we understand that this can be a problem for the supplies. So we have been doing a lot of things at our end. Approaching various other suppliers outside China, and then organizing trade fairs and direct communication with associations abroad. We are also contacting the embassies, Indian embassies overseas. They are also helping us.
Rajiv Chakrabarti, what I'd also like to understand from you, how badly are we getting impacted with the absence of these specialty fertilizers from China, which are the particular sectors within India's agricultural framework which are getting directly impacted, where production could be impacted in the next few months?
In the Kharif season, there is not much consumption of specialty fertilizer. This is the time for subsidized fertilizer only. The actual consumption starts from September onwards. So we have 3-4 months where there will be not much consumption. But then for the next season, we need stable sources of supplies. Now, about impact, what happens? These are very high yielding fertilizer. This makes the precision farming possible. So what happens when the prices of fertilizers goes up, specialty fertilizer, then farmers switch from specialty fertilizer to the traditional fertilizers like urea and DAP. This process actually decreases the yield. When the yield decreases, obviously the prices of vegetables and fruits goes up. I think this has happened in the past also. And this was one of the reasons why these tomato prices increased in 2024. The impact is like that only.
All right, so there could be a possible price increase because of low crop yields And let's see how things will turn out over the months to come. Thank you very much, Mr. Chakrabarti, for joining us. We're taking a short break, but coming up on the other side, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh met his Chinese counterpart on the sidelines of the SCO meeting in Qingdao. The Defence Minister has also urged for bridging trust deficit between Beijing and New Delhi post the 2020 border clashes. We speak on that and much more with India's former envoy to China, Ashok Kanta, on the other side.